Hey, tonight we're going to travel back and step into a story that feels like a dream, but is real in every little detail. We're going to take a peaceful walk through an ancient world, a place where cobblestone streets glow under lantern light, where the air hums with quiet life, and every corner holds a secret waiting for us. Yes, tonight we're visiting a medieval marketplace, not the busy, loud kind. This one is different. It's a place where the world slows down, where time is soft, and where you, my friend, can breathe without any rush. We'll discover the soft crackle of market stalls opening under moonlight, the gentle chatter of old storytellers, and maybe, if we listen closely, we'll hear the silent heartbeat of history itself. If you enjoy these calm, immersive journeys, I'd be so grateful if you give this video a like and subscribe to the channel Lil Nomad. I'm curious, where are you listening from? Drop a comment below with your place and what time it is for you right now. I love knowing where my peaceful listeners are from. So find yourself a cozy spot. Hug your pillow or wrap yourself in a soft blanket. Take a deep, slow breath in, and as you exhale, let your body melt into comfort. Congratulations, my friend. You're now walking with me in the heart of medieval times. Let's begin our journey together. The air is crisp, sporting whispers of antique instances. As you take your first steps, cobblestones under your toes click softly, echoing like a mystery rhythm only for you. Each step feels mild, like the world is tiptoeing alongside you. Above you, lanterns swing lazily from timber beams, casting golden glows on stone walls and timbered rooftops. You could pay attention, can't you? The mild hum of a world that is bogged down only for you. There's a bakery close by. The scent of fresh bread, warm and earthy, reaches you because the baker stacks loaves on a timber shelf outdoor. Teas buzzing a tune, blind to your presence, as in case you are a ghost of the future wandering in the coronary heart of the OT. Past. Ah, fresh bread. Even at this hour, you pay attention, a soft voice beside you. You switch, and there's an antique man, Elias. He's the market storyteller, known for weaving tales below the moonlight. You need to be new here, he says with a grin. Come, walk with me. There's a lot to look when the world is quiet. You stroll alongside Elias. Pay attention, can't you? It's a mild hum of a world that is bogged down only for you. There's a bakery close by. The scent of fresh bread, warm and earthy, reaches you because the baker stacks loaves on a timber shelf outdoor. He's buzzing a tune, blind to your presence. In case you are a ghost of the future wandering in the coronary heart of the past. Ah, fresh bread. Even at this hour, you pay attention, a soft voice beside you.
You switch.
And there's an antique man, Elias. He's the market storyteller, known for weaving tales below the moonlight. You need to be new here, he says with a grin. Come, walk with me. There's a lot to look when the world is quiet. You stroll alongside Elias, his cane tapping lightly at the cobblestones matching your steps. You spot that herb female? It's Marga. She's been promoting lavender here in view that earlier than I had gray in my beard. He chuckles. Marga doesn't see you. However, you watch her arms, gradual and cautious, shifting like poetry as she ties them with a jute string. The night is soft. The marketplace is alive, however calm. And you. You are gliding via it as you attain the fountain. Elias pauses. This fountain's been right here longer than any folks. They're saying if you whisper your issues to it, the water contains them away. You lean in, the water's melody wrapping round your words as you quietly release your mind into its mild flow. Similarly, ahead a lute's melody floats through the air. You word a young lady sitting on a low stone wall. Her name is Lena. She's playing the lute, her arms moving. Gracefully, her eyes closed, lost in her tune. Elias whispers, she performs each nighttime, hoping her tune reaches her brother who's away at sea. You smile, the notes feeling like smooth raindrops to your mind. As you bypass the bookseller's stall, the old man napping with a grin, Elias winks. That's Tompkins. Desires higher tales than he sells. Small. Cat trots beyond your feet, her fur brushing lightly against you. Elias bends down. Ah, there goes Nibby, the real queen of this market. She'll lead you to the fine fishmonger if you supply her a scratch at the back of the ears. Similarly ahead, the market opens right into a courtyard where a few candlelit stalls shimmer in the breeze. The scent of honeyed Almonds wafts via the air. Ah, time for a treat, Elias says, main you to a stall where a plump lady, Beatrice, greets you with a heat smile. Candy tooths never sleep, she laughs, handing Elias a small bag of sugared nuts. Don't assume I don't see you sneaking more, she teases, her eyes twinkling. You bypass a confectioner's desk. Tiny sugared treats covered in neat rows, glistening under the lantern mild. In the distance, a bell chimes, smooth and mellow, marking the passage of time. Even though right here, time feels inappropriate. Elias gestures to a timber bench underneath an old oak tree. That is where I inform my tales, he says. However, tonight it's your flip to truly concentrate. You sit down. The bench creaks softly under your weight, however it feels strong. A door it has been watching for you. Near your eyes for a second, sense the nighttime breeze against your face, the faint flicker of candlelight dancing throughout your closed eyelids. This market, this location, it's your sanctuary tonight. Each sound, each fragrance, each gentle glimmer of light, it's all here for you. You listen, quiet laughter, remote, comforting, as if the sector is gently chuckling at a joke. Best vintage markets recognize. Come now, there's extra, Elias says, growing with sudden ease. You bypass a glassblower's stall, in which molten glass glows like a tiny solar. The artisan, a young man named Corbin, shapes it slowly, patiently, his arms moving with a rhythm exceeded down through centuries. He's making famous person globes tonight, Elias explains. The lice. Little pieces of night sky trapped in glass. Lovely, aren't they? There's a stall with woven baskets, in which a lady named Alara is cautiously braiding new patterns. She smiles at Elias and gives you a nod. Her arms circulate with such grace, you feel your own breath slowing too and shape her rhythm. Above you, a nightingale sings. Its track flutters. Gently through the air, a lullaby older than any language. You feel it now, don't you? That sense of weightlessness, such as you're floating through time. The medieval marketplace isn't an area you're touring. It's an area that's welcoming you domestic. The night grows deeper. The lanterns flicker slower. Your coronary heart ... your heartbeat. Flawlessly in sync with the sector around you. As you come across a small pottery stall, cabinets coated with clay cups and vases, Elias's faucets your shoulder. Let's look ahead to a second. The potter, an elder named Rowan, shapes a new piece, his wheels spinning slowly. He hums, and the hum appears like a vibration that settles into your bones. Advent. Isn't in a hurry, Elias says softly. Neither should you be. You are allowed to gradual down. You're allowed to be nonetheless, the marketplace maintains. But you pick to pause, to absolutely breathe, to exist on this mild now, glancing upwards. The sky is a blanket of mild indigo, stitched with stars. Elias points closer to a timber pier main to a relaxed lake at the edge of the marketplace. That's in which we say goodnight, he whispers. You walk collectively, your steps soundless now as if the floor itself is cushioning you. The water displays the night sky, growing a replicate in which stars appear inside reach. You sit at the edge of the pier, legs dangling above the mild lapping water. Elias pats your shoulder gently. You've walked well tonight, my pal. But recall, this market has many more secrets but to share. We're going to find hidden courtyards forgotten. Alleyways, and likely if you're lucky, meet the candle maker, who whispers needs into each flame. You smile, feeling the calm seep into each nook of your being. Breathe in, breathe out. The medieval market fades right into a soft, comforting hum. Your heart is mild, your mind is soft, you're safe, you're loved. So for now, the hidden courtyards and candle makers whispering flames, the dawn remains far away, and the medieval market breathes slowly in the nighttime air. As you and Elias rise from the wood pier, the market seems to softly shift, as though opening new paths only for you. Elias leans near and whispers, "Tonight, we take the back ways. The hidden courtyards wherein only moonlight dares to move." You follow him as he guides you in the back of the row of fishmongers, wherein a slim archway opens right into a mystery path. The air right here feels cooler, tinged with the scent of vintage ivy and stone. The cobblestones are uneven, but Elias is aware of each step. People forget those places, he says softly. But there, where in the heart of the market lives, a soft snort breaks the silence. From in the back of a tapestry-draped doorway, a younger boy peeks out. It's Finn, the candlemaker's apprentice. Sparkle with interest. Grasp Corbin's awaiting you, Finn whispers. Before darting away into the maze of shadows, Elias follows. The alleyway opens right into a hidden courtyard. Right here, the world seems to glow from inner. Dozens of candles flicker along the walls, their tiny flames dancing like fireflies. In the center, a big stone desk is cluttered with candle molds, pots of aromatic wax, and touchy gear. Corbin, the candlemaker, stands on the desk. He's younger than you expected, with smart arms and kind eyes. He seams up with a grin. Ah, traffic of the nighttime. The super kind. He gestures you nearer. Come. Would you want to make a want candle? Elias nods approvingly. It's a way of life. You'll see why. Or Corbin arms you a small brass mold. The wax is heat below your arms as you form it carefully, your thumb urgent, your silent want into its heart. Corbin smiles. You don't want to say it aloud, the wax recalls. When the candle is ready, Corbin lights it with a slim reed. The flame flares, then settles, glowing gently, as though it is aware of you want, with the aid of heart. He places your candle on a floating wood tray, already wearing other tiny flames, each one a mystery want of each other wanderer. As we set those needs to sail, Corbin says, as he leads you to a slim motion that winds in the back of the courtyard. The tray glides onto the water, and the candles waft away. Their reflections shimmering like remote stars stuck in rivers include. Elias sighs contentedly. Some say those candles find their way to the dreamer's lake, wherein the sky and water end up one. The air is full of the soft crackle of candlelight, the trickle of water, and a serene hush that looks like a lullaby. You feel a small nudge at your ankle. Nibby, the cat has placed you again, she meows, as though to say, come on, there's more. Elias laughs. Maybe's right. There's a storyteller's nook you haven't seen, but via winding alleys, you arrive at a round stone courtyard, where stone benches curve like an amphitheater. At its center, an old lady sits spinning wool. Her name is Maylise, the market's memory keeper. She doesn't talk at once, rather she hums, a tune that feels ancient but familiar. You sit quietly, letting the melody wrap round you. Finally, she opens her eyes. Ah, you've added them, Elias. Elias bows with a flourish. Couldn't let them leave without hearing a midnight tale. Maylise gestures you nearer. Each thread I spin holds a tale. Would you want to hear yours? You nod and she smiles, pulling a silver thread from her spindle. As she spins, she speaks softly. Once upon a still and quiet night, a wanderer walked these stones, seeking out an area where the world listened. Little did they know the market was ready, with whispers in each lantern, and gulls folded into each loaf of bread. Her words feel like they're not just tales, but truths that have been ready to arrive. You've found it now, she says. Your area of stillness. The courtyard falls into a hush. Only the mild spinning of wool, the glint of candles, and your calm breath stay. Elias leans in, his voice a mere breath. See, I told you. There's magic in these forgotten corners. Maylise arms you the silver thread. Take this. When you feel the world getting too loud, hold it. It'll guide you back here to this very night. Nibby hops onto your lap, purring contentedly. Elias chuckles. Well, she's claimed you now. You're part of this market's tale. The night has deepened. The stars seem lower, as if bending toward. Listen, Elias stands, stretching with a soft groan. One last area before we end tonight's wander is leading you back via the winding paths. So you reach a tiny bridge that arches over a pond so still, it mirrors the sky perfectly. Lanterns line the bridge, their reflections meeting the real flames in a dance of mild. Elias stops in the center of the bridge. Here's where you leave your footprint, he points down. Below the bridge, on the water's area, are stones. Easy, round, and covered in hand-carved symbols. Each visitor who finds this area leaves an image. It's how the market recalls. Corbin reappears, handing you a small carving tool. You kneel down, choosing a stone, and gently etch an image. Maybe a star, maybe a heart, maybe a swirl that only you apprehend. As you end, the stone glows faintly, as if acknowledging your presence. Elias smiles. Ow. Now you're truly part of us. He pats your back gently. This night, it's yours now. But the market begins to get softer, like a deep exhale, as the night nears its end. You find yourself back near the fountain, the very area where your journey began. The waters still whisper, the lanterns still glow, and you, my pal, are lighter than you were before. Elias places a hand to your shoulder. You'll come back. Maybe in goals, maybe in a quiet second during a busy day. But you'll return, because the market never forgets its wanderers. As the mist gently wraps round you, Elias gives a small snort. But wait, our night isn't done, but there's one last area I want you to see. Nibi gives a soft meow, as if in agreement, her little lantern tail swaying as she trots ahead. Elias gestures you ahead. You follow him past the stone bridge, where the market's glow begins to dim, and changed by a soft, silvery luminescence that feels more like moonlight than lanterns. But most of the traffic never find this path, Elias whispers, his voice losing as if the very air asked him to talk softly. But tonight, the pageant of lantern goals opens it only for you. Although the cobblestones are unique, etched with ancient runes that pulse faintly underfoot, as if each step awakens old memories. You and Elias walk side by side, not in a rush. The world feels suspended in a mild pause. There's no rush here. You cross a stall where an aged lady, wrapped in a cloak of woven twilight hues, is braiding thin silver threads into delicate bracelets. She smiles at you, her eyes twinkling. Without saying a word, she gently ties a bracelet round your wrist. It's so mild you barely feel it, but it radiates a warmth that seeps into your pulse. Elias leans in. That's a weaver's thread. Ties your gift self to your goals. Whenever it shimmers, know that a dream is breathing someplace inside you. You hold on to foot. Soon, a mild move seems, its floor mirroring the stars so perfectly that it looks like a path made of liquid sky. A small stone bridge arches over it, slim and delicate. That is the bridge of mild promises. Go slowly, Elias advises, and consider a promise you'd want to make not to anyone else, but to yourself. Your area, a foot onto the bridge. The stone feels cool, and with each step, the move below ripples with soft glows. You shut your eyes and make an easy promise, to be kinder to yourself, to find small wallet of peace, even on noisy days. The bridge responds, with a faint hum, as if sealing your promise into the night air. On the other side, the path widens into a glade. The grass is soft, as if the floor itself is inviting you to sit. And there, in the heart of the clearing, floats a single big lantern tethered to the earth by silken ribbons. It sways gently, though there's no breeze. Elias whispers, that is the heart lantern. Each want, each dream, each quiet hope from tonight has amassed here. He arms you a small, folded paper hen. Write one more want, but this time, don't think. Just let your heart talk. You unfold the paper and write. Not with your mind, but with that soft, instinctive whisper in you. You don't overthink. Truly write. As your area, the hen near the heart lantern, it begins to glow, pulsing with a warmth that spreads outward, wrapping you, Elias, Nibi, and the whole glade in a cocoon of mild. For a second, it looks like you're floating. Elias sits beside you, his voice barely above a murmur. This market, these lanterns, they're not just memories of the past. They're seeds planted to your future goals. Each step you took tonight left a path to follow back whenever you want it. Nibi curls into your lap, purring softly. The world grows quieter. The heart lantern begins to ascend, lifting slowly into the night sky. As it rises, it pulls with it not just the paper when you left, but a soft weight from your chest, the kind you carry after a long day. Elias chuckles. Looks like the market isn't quite done with you. He leads you down a path you hadn't noticed before, slim stairway carved into the earth, spiraling gently downwards. The walls of this stairway glow faintly with bioluminescent moss, portray your descent in soft green, mild. The air grows cooler, wrapped in the scent of old books and fresh rain. At the bottom, you arrive at a hidden alcove, the lantern scriptorium. Here, scribes sit at long wood tables, quills dancing across endless rolls of parchment. But these are no normal scribes. Each wears a cloak of moving hues, like ink swirling in water. Each stroke they make writes not just words, but emotions, memories, fragments of goals. The journey back is mild. The lanterns guide you. The market hums quietly. When you reach your cozy nook again, it feels unique not as a resting area, but as a sacred area made only for you. Nibby curls beside you, purring in soft alignment with your heartbeat. Elias's final words are a lullaby now. You're safe. You're loved, and you're the keeper of your own mild tale. Your eyes flutter closed. The market breathes with you. Sleep comes, not as an escape, but as a continuation of this lovely wandering dream. The night is calm, the air tinged with a soft glow as Elias walks beside you, his lantern casting mild circles of mild. Tonight, he says, the market has tons to show you. But only if you walk slow enough to word. Nibby trots ahead, her little lantern tail swaying, illuminating the cobblestones like a path of soft stars. You pass stalls where traders sell time-worn maps of imaginary places. Bottles full of captured whispers, and delicate origami birds that flutter to life when gently blown upon. The air hums not with noise, but with tales ready to be found. Elias points to a bridge ahead, its stones shimmering faintly. That's the bridge of mild promises, he murmurs. Anyone who crosses must make a quiet promise to themselves. No one else will hear it, but the bridge always recalls. As you step onto the bridge, you feel the chill of its stones below your FT. You pause, heart whispering a promise to be kinder to yourself, to find moments of stillness in the rush of days. The bridge hums softly in response, as if sealing your vow into its ancient stones. On the other side, an open glade awaits. Suspended in its center is the heart lantern, a big orb of mild tethered by delicate silver. Threads, its glow isn't vivid but deep, as though it cradles endless goals inside Elia's arms. You a folded paper hen, write a want. Not one you think of, but one your heart feels. You unfold the hen, and without overthinking, pen a want that feels easy but profound. As you area the hen on the heart lantern's base, the lantern pulses softly, its glow wrapping you in a cocoon of heat. You've added you want to the tapestry of goals, Elias whispers. It'll stay here, glowing gently even when you're far away. Nibby curls round your ankles, her purrs syncing with the lantern's rhythm. The world feels quieter now, as though the market itself is taking a deep breath with you. Elias gestures to a slim, ivy-covered path. There's a hidden area few ever find.
You follow him via the ivy, its leaves brushing towards you, want soft whispers.
The path opens into the circle of silent tales. A courtyard was floating scrolls, hum with unwritten tales. Cloaked figures sit beside them, eyes closed, listening not with ears, but with hearts. A young lady named Eloan arms you a scroll tied with a silver ribbon. As you hold it, the parchment vibrates softly, freeing a tale at once into your mind, a tale of a lantern keeper who saved a village. Not with grand gestures, but with quiet, steadfast, mild. Elias smiles. Tales like these pick their listeners. Time seems to slow as you sit among the scrolls, their tales weaving round you want a soft blanket. Nibby settles by your side, tail flicking lazily, fully text. After a while, a mild bell chime alerts it's time to move on. Elias leads you toward the lantern maze. Few dare its paths, but folks who do find reflections they didn't know they'd lost. The maze isn't puzzling, rather it feels alive. Lanterns of each shade and form waft gently, their mild ebbing and flowing. As you wander, one unique lantern, a soft jade droplet, drifts nearby. When you touch it, the world shifts. Your status by a quiet shoreline, waves whispering over easy pebbles. Beside you stands a younger model of yourself, eyes wide with marvel. They offer you a seashell, a token of a dream you'd nearly forgotten. As you accept it, the vision fades, and you're back in the maze, shell in hand. That's your reflection token, Elias says. Hold it nearby. It's a key to doors you've but to find. The market feels unique now, as though each lantern knows you by name. Elias grins. Come, the jester's lanterns await. At a quaint stall, laughing lanterns shaped like smiling faces waft lazily. Tovin, A jovial stallkeeper arms you one. It bursts into a soft, infectious snort the moment you hold it. Even Nibby seems amused. We take life too severely sometimes, Elias laughs. Even the stars want a good snort. As you carry the lantern, its laughter becomes a heat, pulsing joy. Inside you, the market hums along, each nook now feeling like an old pal. Elias prepares a cozy nook for you, smoothing soft blankets. You've amassed mild laughter and goals tonight. Let sleep carry them gently for you. Nibby is already curled in area, her purring syncing with your breath. Just as you begin to settle, a soft glow catches your interest. Nibby trots toward a hidden pathway lined with floating orbs. Elias gestures. Seems the lantern spirits aren't done, but the path ends in the whispering grove, where lanterns breathe in rhythm with you, and tales not but born hum quietly. You sit among soft cushions, letting the grove's whispers wrap round you, their tales flowing like a mild move. Elias leans in. Not all tales are meant to be told aloud. Some are meant to be felt. Time loses meaning here. The lantern's glow looks like a heartbeat, syncing with your own, till you can't tell where you end and the grove begins. When the whispers quiet, Elias guides. You're back. The market shimmers in soft pastel hues, each lantern now a pal. Elias smiles. One last secret awaits. He leads you down a spiral stairway to the lantern scriptorium, where cloaked scribes write not words, but emotions onto endless scrolls. Elias arms you a clean scroll. This one's yours too, right? You sit at a stone desk, a feather-light quill in hand. As you write, the market's hum syncs with each stroke, as if the very act of writing breathes life into goals but to come. Elias's voice is soft, nearly a murmur. This market isn't sure by time. Turn whenever you seek stillness. As you rise, scroll in hand, you feel lighter, but more whole. Returning to your resting nook, Nibby curls beside you once more. Elias drapes a soft twilight-woven cloak over your shoulders. Sleep isn't the end of tonight's tale. It's the bridge to tomorrow's. The jester's lantern still glints softly, its tiny snort a lullaby. Elias whispers, "You're safe. You're loved. You're home." Your eyelids grow heavy. The market breathes with you. Sleep comes not as an escape, but as a continuation of this lovely wandering dream. The world is quiet, but not empty. The soft glow of the market lingers to your mind as Elias gently nudges you awake. His lantern sways slowly, casting golden ripples of mild across the cobblestones. Tonight's journey isn't over, Elias whispers with a knowing smile. There's an area few ever walk, a bridge that only seems when hearts are quiet enough to hear its name. Nibby stretches her tiny yawn nearly a tune, and hops onto your shoulder as if she already knows where you're going. Elias leads you past familiar stalls that now hum with a softer rhythm. The traders are still, their eyes closed, as if they too are dreaming while awake. The air feels denser here, not heavy, but rich, like velvet soaked in moonlight. Ahead, an archway seems woven from starlight itself, shimmers, not quite solid, as though the universe forgot whether it must be a bridge or a dream. The path of starlit bridges, Elias says softly. It doesn't lead you where you want to go, it takes you where you want to be. You step via the archway, and the world shifts. Below your feet, the floor becomes a tapestry of bridges, each made from unique threads of mild, and some are silver. Delicate and best, while others pulse in deep hues of sapphire and gold. The bridges weave in and out of each other, rising and falling like soft breaths. Elias doesn't rush you. He truly gestures. Pick the path that feels like it recalls you. Your gaze falling on a slim bridge woven from threads of soft lavender, mild. It hums a quiet melody tune you can't recall, but feels as familiar as an old lullaby. As you step onto the bridge, the air becomes fluid, embracing you in a cocoon of mild warmth. Each step forward feels lighter, as though the bridge is lifting not just your body, but the weight you didn't realize you carried. The bridge ends in a chain of floating systems, each hosting a scene suspended in time. On one, a mom sings to her baby below a tree of glowing blossoms. On another, an old man scribbles poems onto the floor of a lake, his words drifting into the water like petals. These are fragments of forgotten moments, Elias explains. They linger, awaiting someone to recall them. You're drawn to a platform where a baby chases floating lanterns, laughing with pure joy. As you watch, the scene reacts. One of the lanterns floats toward you, its mild pulsing with quiet invitation. When you reach out, the lantern bursts softly right into a flurry of glowing petals that swirl around you. And you're now not at the platform. Your status on a bridge of glass beneath a countless nighttime sky, stars reflecting under your feet as though walking across a mirrored ocean. Voice, gentle and familiar, speaks no longer aloud, but within your heart. Each step you are taking right here recalls a dream you once had, regardless of how small. With each step, memories resurface, not grand ones, quiet moments. The consolation of a gentle blanket on a rainy day, the joy of a shared smile, the stillness of looking leaves dance within the wind. Elias walks beside you silently, understanding this part of the journey is yours alone to sense. Eventually, the bridge arcs gently upward, leading to a large archway made of floating pages, their words shimmering like constellations. That is the archive of mild echoes, Elias says. Here, every word you've ever whispered into the night is kept safe. You step through, and the world will become a massive library. Not of books, but of whispers. The air vibrates softly with hushed voices, each telling a story most effective supposed to be heard another time. A soft, sparkling orb floats closer to you. While you touch it, a memory unfolds. You're sitting under a tree. A younger model of yourself, whispering a wish into the wind. You had no idea if anyone... That want never vanished, Elias says gently. It found its way here. You carry the orb with you as you hold deeper into the archive. To move. You reach a chamber where floating mirrors hold in midair, each reflecting not your face, but the faces of folks who've loved you, silently, pals, family, even strangers. That is the hall of quiet gratitude, Elias murmurs. We often forget how many hearts have quietly wished us well. Nibby hops onto one of the mirrors, her reflection splitting into playful copies, each purring in perfect concord. Even the quiet holds a soft laughter here. You spend time here, letting the reflections remind you of gentle connections you'd forgotten. The air is full of a serene, warm temperature, like a hug wrapped in moonlight. While you're ready, Elias leads you to a final bridge. This one is unlike the others. It's made of sheer starlight, so delicate it seems you can fall through. But as you step, it holds you on a promise. This bridge, Elias whispers, isn't for walking. It's for floating. You close your eyes, and the bridge lifts you gently, cradling you as you drift across a sky so big, it feels like the universe is tucking you in. Above, lanterns swirl like galaxies. They're mild, soft, and pulsing with a rhythm that fits your breath. Elias's voice drifts to you, carried on a breeze of stardust. You're not just on foot via tales tonight, my pal. You're a tale. A lovely, breathing, dreaming tale. As you waft, the stars above you begin to hum a melody of each kind word ever spoken, each quiet hope ever wished. Nibby curls beside you, her purring becoming a soft concord to the stars' tune. You're weightless now, drifting not just via area, but via calmness itself. The bridge slowly brings you to a resting area, a soft patch of cloud, warmed by lantern mild. Elias sits nearby, gazing upward. You've walked far tonight, he says, amassed goals, needs, and quiet gratitude.
Oh.
It's time to let sleep weave them into something lovely. He arms you. Small lantern. Doesn't glow brightly, but softly like a heartbeat awaiting goals to fill it. Take this with you, Elias whispers. When you wake, its mild will still be there, mild and patient. As you lay down, wrapped in a cocoon of starlit, warm temperature, the market, the bridges, the echoes, they don't fade. They breathe with you, slow and calm, as your body eases into relaxation. Elias's very last words go with the flow to you. Softer than a sigh, you're secure, you're cherished, you are home. Your breath slows, syncing with the heartbeat of the lantern you currently keep. Sleep isn't a breakout, it's a gentle continuation. And as your eyelids close, the last thing you feel is the world lightly slowing, keeping you, guiding you into a nighttime where dreams are not chased but welcomed. The weaver's mark at the air is mild and hushed as you stir awake, though it feels less like waking and more like drifting into a unique form of dream. Elias is there, of path, lantern in hand, his smile heat and familiar. This part, he says softly, is my favored. Nibby is already ahead of you, weaving among floating threads that shimmer like spider silk kissed. By dawn, the path is slim, but it welcomes you, cradling each step with a soft, invisible hand. We're on foot to the Weaver's Market now, Elias whispers, an area where forgotten needs are given form. As you comply with the lantern's glow dims barely now, not out of weariness, but as though making room for a subtler, richer light ahead. But the air smells of parchment and lavender, a comforting blend that seems like turning the page of a vintage-liked book. You soon arrive at an archway, this one not made of stone or starlight, but of threads, lots of them, intricately knotted into swirling styles that shift as you watch. Each thread hums softly, their colors converting together with your breath. Elias gestures. Step via gently. As you pass below, the world unfolds like a loom being drawn. Wide. The market stretches infinitely, but feels intimate, as though it's been ready only for you. Stalls here are unlike any you've seen before. Instead of selling items, the weavers here offer moments. One stall has bowls full of fragments of laughter, tiny crystalline giggles that glint when held. Another has soft bundles of silence woven so delicately they melt into your arms. An aged weaver named Marisol greets you with a nod. Her arms are a blur as she threads ribbons of daylight that seems to breathe. Would you want to weave something? She asks, her voice like the rustle of turning pages. Elias smiles encouragingly. You've amassed goals and needs. Now, it's time to sew them into being. Marisol arms you, a single silver thread. Begin with a memory that also makes your heart hum. You shut your eyes. Instantly, the image of a quiet afternoon surfaces, the warmth of tea to your arms. The soft weight of a book, the mild hum of tune. As the memory solidifies, the silver thread begins to glow, ready to be woven. You move to the loom, guided by Marisol's patient arms. With each pass, the memory deepens, taking on texture, shade, weight. Elias whispers, on this market, nothing is too small to rely. As you weave, other weavers gather near. Each offering threads spun from forgotten moments, a baby's pleased gasp upon seeing snow for the first time. The comforting hush of rain on a tin roof, quiet bravery of whispered apologies. You add them to your tapestry, each so a soft affirmation that these moments, though tiny, are profoundly alive. Nearby, Nibby is playfully tugging on a thread that floats freely. The thread dances and loops and refusing to be tamed, until Nibby gives a positive pounce and gives it to you. The thread glows with a mischievous twinkle. That one, Marisol chuckles, is a thread of unplanned joy. Best to weave it where it may marvel you. Airy it into your tapestry without a plan, and instantly the cloth ripples. Growing a new sample you hadn't meant but instantly love. Elias watches, his lantern now dimmed to text in the soft glow of Advent round you. Not everything we weave is best, he says gently, but it's all perfectly yours. Once your tapestry feels whole, not finished, but perfectly paused, Marisol helps you launch it. It floats upwards, folding gently into a lantern. It's mild, a mix of each shade and memory you've stitched. This lantern will follow you, Marisol smiles. Not to mild your way, but to remind you that you create the path below your FT. As you hold it, the lantern feels heat, not hot, like a soft pulse, syncing with your own. Elias guides you further into the market, past weavers spinning threads into tune, where melodies are woven into scarves that sing when wrapped round your shoulders. You pause by a stall where an aged man named Fenwick is weaving a tale into a ribbon. Arms you a bit, and as you hold it, you hear a tale unfold not in words, but in emotions. It's a tale of kindness handed from a stranger in a bustling road. A mild reminder of how quiet acts ripple outward. The weaver's market is where forgotten needs and omitted kindnesses find a home, Elias murmurs. It's where threads that never met are woven into something lovely. Nibby, now perched atop a stall, purrs approvingly as you still explore. On the center of the market is the loom of still moments, a big round loom where weavers invite traffic to truly sit and breathe. Here, the act of stillness is the thread, and the tapestry it weaves is invisible but deeply felt. You join them, feeling each breath adding to a cloth you can't see but know is there. The market hums gently, as if it, too, is breathing with you. Leah settles beside you. Some tapestries are never meant to be finished. They stay in the act of being woven, second by second. Time drifts, unmeasured and kind. When you rise, the lantern you've created follows. It's mild, now pulsing, in best concord with your heartbeat. Looks like wearing a soft piece of home with you. As you prepare to leave, Marisol arms you a small spindle wrapped in clean thread. For the goals you haven't dreamed but, she says with a wink. Elias leads you back toward the archway of threads. The path feels unique now, not as it's changed, but because you have. You've stitched tonight into something real, Elias says softly. Now, let's sleep weave it deeper. Nibby is already ahead, guiding you back to your resting nook. The market's glow wraps round you, not as a barrier, but as a soft embody. Elias tucks you in once more, laying the spindle of easy thread gently by your side. You're a weaver now, my pal. Breath, each idea, a sou to your ever-growing tapestry. As your eyes near the hum of the market lingers, not loud but gift, like the memory of a tune you can still feel, you're safe, you're loved, you're home. Sleep welcomes you, not as an ending, but as a loom awaiting the next mild thread. The lawn of unfinished tales, the market's glow lingers to your breath as you waft deeper into the calm. Elias's lantern is dim, but its soft mild feels more powerful, now as though it does not need to shine, but truly to be gift. Nibby perches to your shoulder, her purring syncing with your heartbeat. Elias smiles gently, and his voice is soft as moonlight on still water. You've woven goals, amassed reflections, and now it's time to meet the tales that never found their endings.
Oh.
He gestures toward a slim archway covered in ivy.
Oh.
But the leaves shimmer, not in green, but in soft hues of silver and midnight blue.
Ow!
As you pass via, the world hushes. The cobblestones melt into moss. Air becomes heavier, but not burdensome, as like a blanket laid gently over your shoulders.
Ow! Welcome to the lawn of unfinished tales.
It's a big, open area, but some way it feels enclosed, safe. Lanterns waft lazily above, casting mild that seems to avoid the rims, keeping everything inside a heat, breathing cocoon. Here, the floor is covered with parchment leaves. As you step, the leaves flutter, freeing soft whispers. Not words, just fragments of sentences, one half-shaped ideas, the sigh of a tale craving to be told. Elias kneels and picks up a parchment leaf. Each leaf here carries a tale that was never finished. Some were forgotten, some were left behind. But none of them are lost. He arms you a leaf. The moment your arms brush its delicate floor, pics flood your mind, a young lady in a red cloak status at a forest's area, hesitant to step forward. You feel her pause, her unfinished journey placing in the air. She's been awaiting someone to walk with her, Elias says, as if reading your mind. You take a step, and you're beside the lady. The forest ahead is big, but your presence steadies her. Together you take that next step, and as you do, the scene dissolves into a mild mist. Back in the lawn, the leaf you held has converted into a tiny, glowing wisp, floating upwards to join the other finished tales drifting lazily in the sky. This lawn doesn't demand you to finish each tale, Elias explains. Sometimes it truly asks you to walk along them, even if for only a second. You hold ahead. Nibby darts ahead, leaping joyfully at floating parchments that dance just out of reach. You encounter a weeping willow. Its branches are adorned with ribbons, each one inscribed with a single line of a tale lines that never found their next chapter. One ribbon catches your eye, reads. He waited on the bridge each dusk, hoping she would return with the sunset. You gently touch the ribbon, and instantly the vision unfolds. Your status on a quiet bridge, the sky painted in soft twilight hues. Old man waits, holding a lantern that's grown dim. You sit beside him, saying nothing, but your presence brings a shift. The lantern glints back to life. Elias joins you, his voice calm. Not all tales seek endings. Some only want agency. Further along, you find a small pool of water. Its floor isn't still, rather. It ripples with fleeting pics, a painter hesitating before her first stroke, a poet lingering on a one-half-written verse, a visitor pausing at a forked path. Elias gestures. Area your hand on the water. Dew and the ripples calm, focusing into a single image. A boy sits on a rooftop, gazing on the stars, a telescope beside him, untouched. You reach out, and you're on that rooftop. The boy looks at you, unsure. Would you want to look together? You ask. He smiles, and together, you peer via the telescope, seeing not just stars, but tales, but unwritten. As you come to the lawn, a soft bell chime resonates via the air. The lawn responds. Parchments lift gently into the sky. Unfinished tales text with their quick companionship. Elias walks beside you, his lantern now glowing with the softest golden hue. There's one more area, he says, main you to an arched gateway shaped totally of intertwining vines. That is the greenhouse of new beginnings. Inner, the air feels unique, live with ability. Tiny buds hold from the ceiling, each one a tail seed. Here Elias explains, tails aren't found, they're planted. Marisol, the weaver from the market, is here too. She arms you a small, radiant seed. This one listens to your goals. You cup it gently, and instantly it pulses with a glow that looks like a heartbeat, sensing you feel there are empty pots lined up. Full of soft luminescent soil, you pick one, intuitively plant the seed, and as you cowle it with soil. The whole greenhouse hums softly, but from the pot a small sprout emerges, glowing gently. It doesn't demand to grow into a tree or blossom into a flower, it is text and it's becoming. You've given it a starting, Elias smiles. The rest will unfold in its own time. As you leave the greenhouse, Nibby brushes towards your leg, her purring resonating with the soft hum of the lawn. Turning to your resting nook, Elias tucks you in, putting a single parchment leaf by your side, and when you feel like starting a tale of your own. The lantern you crafted earlier now floats above you, or casting a soft, rhythmic glow. Elias's voice is a murmur, like a lullaby only you can hear, and tonight you didn't just listen to tales, you became part of them. And they, in flip, became part of you. The lawn's hum fades into the regular cadence of your breath, each inhale and thread, each exhale and web page turning. You're safe, you're loved, you're domestic. The sleep embraces you. The unfinished tales no longer sense incomplete. They may be ready, patiently, for dreamers like you. The stillness of the lawn looks like a smooth breath as you drift, weightless, deeper into the tapestry of desires. Lantis's lantern, ever so mild, seems to glow, not with mild, however with memory. Nibby nuzzles your cheek, her purrs grounding you to this sensitive moment. Elias smiles knowingly. It's time, he says softly, to go to the vicinity in which your desires are given form. The lantern maker's atelier awaits. He gestures beforehand to an arched doorway, this one crafted not from stone or timber, however from swirling beams of liquid mild. As you step via the sector shifts again this time into a realm that feels suspended among breath and heartbeat. The atelier unfolds like a historical observatory, its ceiling a large dome of smooth twilight in which constellations drift lazily. Yet rather than telescopes and scrolls, the space is filled with lanterns. Masses, possibly thousands, each one floating gently, cradling a dream within. The air is warm, like a hush wrapped in velvet. Each lantern right here hums with its personal smooth melody, a chorus of goals waiting to be carried into the arena. At the heart of the atelier stands the lantern maker. He's tall, cloaked in robes woven from nighttime and stardust. His fingers are large, however, circulate with a sensitive grace, as if each thread of light had been a dwelling whisper. His eyes, after they meet yours, deliver the warm temperature of endless sleepless nights converted into hope. Dreamweaver. His voice is a deep murmur, like remote thunder softened by means of snow. You've added tales and desires. Now we will give them wings. He leads you to a workbench in which fragments of your adventure lay waiting, a silver thread from the weaver's marketplace, a parchment leaf from the lawn of unfinished tales, and the sparkling seed from the greenhouse of recent beginnings. Those are not items, the lantern maker says, however guarantees. This night we will craft them into a lantern of becoming. You take a seat beside him. Nibby hops onto the bench, watching carefully, her tiny tail flicking with exhilaration. The lantern maker begins by means of spinning a globe of liquid light, its floor reflecting moments out of your adventure. He gestures if you want to. Upload the silver thread. As it touches the orb, it begins to weave patterned echoes of kindness, laughter, and quiet reflection. Next, the parchment leaf dissolves into a great mist, embedding tales into the fabric of the lantern. You could nearly pay attention them whispering, no longer loudly, however, as a comforting murmur in the historical past. Ultimately, you press the sparkling seed into the middle of the lantern. Instantly, it pulses, infusing the whole shape with a warm temperature that feels achingly acquainted, like a home you've by no means seen, however, always regarded. The lantern maker smiles. Each lantern crafted right here holds greater than light. It holds a path-a-mild manual for whilst the arena feels too loud. He fingers you a sensitive brush, its bristles shimmering like moonbeams. Now, he says, paint the lantern together with your breath. You're taking a deep inhale, feeling the calmness settle, and with each sluggish exhale, you sweep the lantern. It responds, blooming softly with colors that words can't capture. With every stroke, you are imprinting a piece of your very own stillness, your hopes, your quiet joys. Elias watches close by, his expression textual content. It's now not about making it best, he murmurs. It's about making it yours. Once whole, the lantern maker lifts the finished piece. It hovers lightly, orbiting around you on a smooth parent. This lantern of becoming will follow you, he says, a beacon now not to expose the way, however, to remind you which you are already on it. He gestures toward a balcony overlooking a sea of floating lanterns. As you step out, the view takes your breath away. Lanterns of every coloration and glow glide lazily throughout the twilight expanse. Each one a tale, a wish, a moment of peace, dispatch her into the sector. You spot, the lantern maker continues, each time a person listens, breathes, and goals, a lantern is born. You've now not best crafted yours tonight. You've introduced to a constellation of calm that wraps the sector. Nibby leaps onto the balcony rail, her eyes reflecting 1,000 floating lights. Elias joins you, placing a gentle hand for your shoulder. That is, in which tales in no way honestly quit. They truly find new listeners. The lantern maker offers you with a small crystal pendant. This, he explains, is a fragment of your lantern. Whilst you put on it, you bring a chunk of your dreaming self with you. You experience its weight, mild but grounding, as though it holds your calmest breath. As you put together to leave, the lantern maker bows slightly. Thank you for weaving with us. The mild you've created will maintain to manual others, even whilst you're now not looking. Come for your resting nook. The 8 layers glow gently fading at the back of you, though its warm temperature remains wrapped round your coronary heart. Elias tucks you in yet again, his lantern now slightly flickering, now not out of exhaustion, however out of quiet delight. You've accrued, woven, and now you've crafted. You're a lantern maker too. Nibby curls beside you, her purring sinking together with your breath, because the pendant rests gently in opposition to your chest. Ilias's voice is the final issue you listen, softer than a sigh. You're cozy, you're loved, you're home. Sleep envelops you, the atelier, the lanterns, the testimonies, they don't vanish, become an easy glow inside you, equipped to light up each breath you take. Permits flip this nook. There's something waiting for us, the corridor of echoed footsteps. The hush of the atelier cradles you as you float onward, deeper into the woven material of this night's adventure. The pendant at your chest pulses gently, a quiet accomplice in your breath. Elias now walks beside you in silence, his lantern swaying softly with each step. Nibby usually get curious leaps in advance, glances again, as even though beckoning you in the direction of a place. She's said all the time and however explores anew with each visit in advance. A modern archway awaits this one regular no longer of stone. However, of pathways, dozens of tiny trails woven together, move and intertwine to create a sensitive arch that feels alive with memory. As you step through, a smooth shift occurs, as though the floor itself has taken a breath. Welcome to the Hall of Echoed Footsteps. The hall is extensive, but now not overwhelming. Its floor is a sprawling mosaic of pathways, each shimmering faintly underneath your FT. The air is filled with a symphony of smooth steps, now not loud, however constant, a mild chorus of every footstep ever taken, and each dreamt of step but to be. Ilias's voice returns, a comforting murmur. Each choice you've ever contemplated, Each route you've imagined leaves an echo right here. You are taking a leap forward, and the floor underneath you softly illuminates as though acknowledging your presence. Each footprint glows briefly before fading, as though the hall is listening, recording your adventure. The walls of the corridor are covered with amazing tapestries, each one depicting pathway that twist and turn, a few leading into open skies, others into mysterious forests, full-size oceans, or quiet cobbled alleys. A few paths appear acquainted, whilst others stir a mild curiosity inside. You pause before a tapestry depicting a slender bridge suspended in mist. As you attain out, the tapestry responds, rippling gently and abruptly. You're there standing on that very bridge, the mist cool towards your pores and skin. Elias joins you in his lantern, illuminating a few steps beforehand. These echoes are not intended to remind you of roads now not taken, but have to fund the marvel of getting pics. A gentle rhythmic sound reaches your ears. You look right down to see tiny footprints appearing beside yours. Small, delicate impressions that glow with a gentle blue light. Nibby's pause. She trots beforehand. Her little footprints light up in a playful dance. Following her, you note that her path weaves via locations you hadn't taken into consideration, leading you to new tapestries. One indicates a garden with floating lily pads that serve as stepping stones. Every other reveals a library wherein bookshelves rearrange themselves with each step you're taking. Elias chuckles softly. Every now and then, our partners see paths that we neglect. He gestures to a sequence of arches alongside the corridor's edge, each one glowing faintly, beckoning exploration. These are portals in your echoed trips paths you've dreamed of, but by no means walked. Your technique an arch that appears to shimmer with the scent of rain on stone. As you skip via, the air shifts, and you discover yourself standing in a quiet town square, wherein time actions slower. Each sound, each footstep, lingers like a mild echo. An antique girl sits on a bench feeding birds manufactured from folded paper. She smiles at you, a glance that shows she's known you a long way longer than time would permit. Each imagined step, she says, carries the weight of a possibility. But you don't want to stroll all of them. Every now and then, it's enough to visit and pay attention. As you pay attention, the square hums softly, each folded paper chook flapping gently. Their wings whispering memories of paths chosen and paths left for all over again. Returning to the corridor, you discover Elias waiting, his lantern casting a new glow, one that appears like twilight layered with sunrise. There's an area, he says, wherein all paths converge. He leads you to the middle of the hall, wherein the floor spirals into a smooth vortex of light and shadow. Stepping into it, you feel no longer pulled, however embraced. The arena softens, no longer fading away, however folding lightly around you. You're surrounded through echoes no longer loud, however gift. They're footsteps of beyond selves, of dreams yet to be walked, all harmonizing into a rhythm that is totally yours. In this area, you recognize every step you've taken. Every pause, every change of route has been a stitch in a greater tapestry. There is no regret right here. It's the simplest gratitude for the winding course that is uniquely yours. Elias's voice is near now, yet smooth. You aren't a traveler chasing locations. You're a weaver of trips, and every step, every echo is a part of your track. Nibby curls around your FT, her purring now a part of that smooth symphony. The pendant at your chest warms, syncing with the hall's hum. You realize that this hall, these echoes, aren't an area you go away behind. They walk with you in every step you are taking, even when you are unaware. Elias lightly guides you lower back in your resting nook, tucking you in with a familiarity that feels historic and new unexpectedly. You're secure, he whispers. You're cherished. You're domestic. As your eyes near the hall of echoed footsteps does no longer fade. As an alternative, it settles softly inside you, a quiet reminder that every breath, every step, is a journey worth of its own echo. Take a deep breath with me. It's just you and me here. Smile softly, even if no one's watching. Now we discuss. The celestial clock tower. The whispers of echoed footsteps gently fade, their presence lingering like an easy heartbeat as you drift onward. You experience the pendant at your chest pulse in rhythm, as though it too recalls each step you have taken this night. Elias walks beside you, and his lantern glowing with a quiet actuality. even as Nibby stretches lazily throughout your shoulders, her purrs humming in sync with your breath. There's an area, Elias says, voice as smooth as moonlight on water, wherein time doesn't tick. It sings. He gestures beforehand, and slowly a towering silhouette emerges him. Astonishing structure that appears to touch each earth and stars. The celestial clock tower. Its shape isn't always inflexible, however fluid, moving ever so subtly, as though it is respiration.
Ow.
The partitions are decorated with gleaming brass and silver gears, interwoven with strands of light that pulse like veins underneath pores and skin. As your technique, the air becomes wealthy with a tricky melody, no longer loud, no longer rushed, however a harmonious waltz of ticking, chiming, and whispering winds. It feels less like a mechanical ticking and greater like a lullaby performed on an historic music box. The doorway of the clock tower opens lightly like a yawn. No creaks, no harsh grindings, only a quiet invitation. Inner, the vastness takes your breath away. The ceiling is a dome of tender twilight, with constellations that shift and swirl as though stirred by way of your very thoughts. Good-sized pendulums swing with a grace that defies gravity, their arcs tracing invisible styles within the air. Elias leans closer, his voice a tender secret. This is in which time comes to rest. It isn't something you chase right here. It walks beside you, providing its hand for a mild dance. You start ascending a grand spiral staircase. Each step resonating with a tender chime that feels much less like sound and greater like a ripple via your chest. Nibby trots beforehand, her tiny paws urgent softly on each step, producing pleasant little tinkles. As though she's playing a melody handiest, she can pay attention. As you climb, the partitions around you breathe with memories, no longer yours alone, but fragments of infinite dreamers who have walked this route. A few are brilliant, a baby blowing dandelion seeds, an artist pausing with a broom mid-air, a tourist gazing at the horizon. Others are whispers, a fleeting smile, a lingering look, a breath held in wonder. Elias halts at a touchdown, in which a huge, tricky timepiece floats, untethered by way of partitions or mechanics. Its fingers don't flow in circles, but trace stylish, fluid styles dancing within the air like a painter's brush. Around it, strands of golden light weave and unweave themselves, forming moments. This, Elias says, is the coronary heart of now. He gestures to place your hand upon its surface. As your hands graze the light, a wave of warmth spreads via you. The ticking sound softens, changed by way of a deep, resonant hum that aligns along with your heartbeat. You feel suspended no longer in time, but inside an ideal pause. Elias explains. The coronary heart of now is not approximately controlling time. It's approximately understanding that this moment, this breath, is complete. The whole thing you are, the whole thing you desire to be, rests right here. As you shut your eyes, the sector around you doesn't fade, it deepens. You pay attention to the laughter of a moment you thought you had forgotten. Feel the burden of a quiet afternoon. Spent in solace, flavor the lingering sweetness of a loved memory. Time, right here, is not a line, but a melody that loops lightly, constantly welcoming, by no means rushed. Nibby's playful nudge brings you back, perched atop a gear, spinning slowly, her purrs blending with the clock tower's hum. Elias smiles. Come, there's greater to look. Ascend further, till you attain a chamber packed with glass, floating mid-air, and holds a one-of-a-kind hua. Few glows golden like dawn. Others shimmer silver like moonlit lakes, and a few pulse softly in sunshades of twilight lavender. Those are moments but to reach, Elias says. They aren't constant. They wait to breathe lifestyles into them. He plucks a small orb, handing it to you. It feels light, but its glow warms your entire palm. So you maintain it. Pictures swirl internal, no longer visions of a set future, however mild invites. A route via a wooded area you've by no means walked. A melody waiting to be hummed, a quiet communique under starlit skies. You don't have to decide now, Elias whispers. Just realize they're here, waiting patiently. Placing the orb back, you feel a profound feel of peace. The future isn't a looming wait right here. It's a lawn ready to be wandered. At the tower's top, an observatory awaits. glass partitions, open to the starlit expanse, and as you soar ahead, you feel the vastness cradle you, no longer overwhelm you. This, Elias gestures, is the balcony of breaths. From here you see the intertwining paths of all you've visited, the market, the gardens, the atelier. They glow softly, threads in a giant interconnected loom. You realize then, time isn't a ticking clock. It's a cloth. And every second you breathe, you upload a brand new stitch. Elise's location's a mild hand on your shoulder. While the arena outside feels hurried, while moments seem to slip via your fingers, don't forget this vicinity. Understand that you are by no means in the back of. You are continually exactly in which you want to be. Amy circles. At your FT, her tail brushing your ankle as though to say, you've continually been on time. As you put together to descend, Elias fingers you a delicate pocket watch, though not like any you've seen. Its face is blank, save for a single word inscribed in starlit script. This moment is yours. You cradle it gently, feeling its quiet pulse sinking together with your breath. Descent feels unique now. Now not a return, but a continuation. The clock tower hums its farewell now, not in words, but in a melody, to hum quietly within you. Back at your resting corner, Elias tucks you in, the pocket watch resting gently beside you, its glow a smooth promise. You are secure, he whispers, his voice softer than a dream. You are cherished. You are home. Nibby curls beside you, her purring an appropriate lullaby. As your eyes close, the celestial clock tower doesn't vanish, lingers inside the quiet spaces between your breaths, prepared to welcome you each time you want time to slow, to breathe, to truly be. As we hold on to foot the whispering archive, the smooth hymn of the celestial clock tower cradles you gently as you float into the following bankruptcy of your adventure. The pendant over your coronary heart pulses with a quiet glow, sinking collectively with your breath, as even though it is aware of wherein you're headed next. Elias walks beside you, his lantern flickering softly, casting golden ripples that feel much less like light and more like memories unfolding. Nibby trots in advance, her little paws making no sound, yet her presence seems like a heat thread pulling you gently ahead. There's an area, Elias starts, his voice like a murmur underneath a blanket, wherein forgotten words, unstated desires, and silent goals come to rest now, not to be lost, but to attend. For you, as you walk, the direction narrows, covered with tall historic cabinets crafted from the roots of bushes and the bones of vintage songs. A hush falls not, the silence of vacancy, however the kind of stillness that listens. You arrive at a notable arched doorway woven from limitless strands of silver threads, every thread humming with faint whispers. As you step via, the air shifts, sporting with it the faintest echoes of phrases spoken long in the past and desires never voiced aloud. Welcome to the Whispering Archive. The vastness of the archive unfolds earlier than you. It isn't a library of books, however, of voices. Delicate ribbons of light glide lazily within the air, every one a suspended whisper, a fragment of an idea, a story paused mid-sentence. A few float softly at eye degree. Others spiral high into vaulted ceilings, wherein they twinkle like distant stars. Elias pauses beside you. Each phrase ever whispered to the night, each desire sent quietly into the sector reveals refuge right here. You attain out to one of the drifting ribbons, curls around your arms, warm and soft. As a gentle voice, one you don't recognize, however, in some way understand, whispers, I'm hoping they understand how tons they're cherished. The phrases don't call for movement. They without a doubt settle inside you, a reminder, a quiet affirmation. Nibby leaps playfully via a cluster of ribbons, sending a cascade of whispers dancing via the air. The archive responds, not with noise, however, with a deep, contented hum, as if exhaling a breath that has been preserving for hundreds of years. Elias leads you similarly into the heart of the archive, wherein significant alcoves open, everyone cradling a distinctive kind of whisper. In a single, you discover the alcove of unsent letters. Right here, the air shimmers with sensitive envelopes, floating lightly, their seals unbroken. As you sweep past, Some open tenderly, liberating tender murmurs, phrases of apology, gratitude, confessions, and short sentiments that have been in no way dispatched, but in no way forgotten. Elias gestures to a letter that glows a bit brighter. You reach out, and it opens, revealing an easy line. Thanks for listening, even if I didn't realize how to speak. The phrases wrap round you, not as a burden, but as a comforting embrace. Right here, silence is in no way emptiness. It's a sanctuary. In any other alcove, you find out the chamber of unfinished songs. Threads of melody waft lazily, their tunes incomplete but superbly so. You hum softly, and the nearest thread responds, weaving your hum into its rhythm. For a fleeting second, you are co-composing, not a masterpiece, but a tender lullaby with the intention to now stay in the archive. Elias smiles. Every whisper you provide attention to becomes part of the archive's breath. He leads you to the very last chamber, the vault of silent desires. Not like the opposite spaces, this one feel weightless. Right here, desires are not tethered to phrases. They exist as feelings, breezes of wish, warmths of longing, mild waves of kindness. You step inside, and immediately you feel them brushing towards your skin. Not disturbing, not craving, just being. Elias places a hand for your shoulder. Many trust desires are supposed to be shouted into the celebrities, but some are shy, some opt for a tender accomplice to take a seat quietly with them. You close your eyes, breathing deeply. In this second, you are not a reserver. You are part of the archive. Every breath you are taking, every quiet idea you keep close, becomes a whisper introduced lightly to the collection. Nibby curls round your FT, purring softly, her little frame a grounding presence amidst the swirling desires. Elias turns to you, his lantern dimming to a gentle glow, as if even its light is listening. The sector often forgets the energy of a quiet listener. This night, you've been that for limitless whispers. He palms you a small vial clean. However, within it, a single swirling whisper dances. Preserve this with you. It's a reminder that phrases unstated are not phrases. Lost. As you return towards your resting nook, the archive doesn't near its doors. Alternatively, it feels as even though it expands within you. You deliver its stillness, its hush, its gentle hum. Elias tucks you in yet again, the vial resting softly beside your pillow. You're secure, he whispers, his phrases now mixing seamlessly into the archive's embrace. You're cherished. You're home. Nibby curls in opposition to your face, her purring synchronizing with the ebb and float of the archive's breath. As sleep takes you, the whispers retain now not to disturb, however, to cradle you, reminding you that every silent hope, every unstated kindness, is in no way without a doubt forgotten. Let's sit by this gentle hearth, where every tale feels like a warm embrace. The replicate of moonlit reflections, the quiet hum of the whispering archive lingers within you, like a gentle echo wrapped around your heart as you are taking the subsequent steps into the deep cradle of dreams. Elias, as constantly, walks beside you, even though his lantern now glows, now not with light, however, with a gentle, silvery shimmer, as if conserving a bit of moonlight itself. Nibby, ever the curious accomplice, pads in advance, her tiny paws making silent impressions on a pathway that appears to be woven from stardust and gentle sighs. There's a place in advance, Elias says, his voice a gentle hush, where the reflection you notice isn't always how the sector defines you. However, the way you, without a doubt, are, whilst all the noise falls away. The route widens right into a clearing. Above, the sky is a velvet tapestry of deep indigo, scattered with stars that twinkle as if in rhythm along with your breath. Inside the middle of this clearing stands a big, serene pond, its floor impossibly, nonetheless, mirroring the sky above. This isn't always water, is it? You understand it? Smiles softer, as even though liquid moonlight had accrued to rest. Welcome to the replicate of moonlit reflections, your method the threshold of the pond, and as you do, ripples of light unfold outward now, not distorting your reflection, however inviting it to breathe. In contrast to ordinary mirrors that seize appearances, this pond displays your essence, the quiet truths you deliver, even those you may have forgotten. Elias kneels beside you, putting his lantern down. Most reflections show you the floor, However, right here, you'll see your heart's quiet glow, the kindness on your breath, the braveness on your gentleness. You gaze into the pond. The mirrored image that meets you feels achingly familiar, but splendidly new. You notice yourself not as a hard and fast photograph, however, as a living, respiratory tale. Each soft snigger you've shared, each quiet kindness, each moment of surely being knees, are the brushstrokes painting your mirrored image now. Nibby's tiny face appears beside yours inside the water, her mirrored image flickering playfully. She purrs, and the pond responds, including mild ripples that shimmer with affection. From the brink of the clearing, brand new parent tactics, a mild elderly woman draped in gowns of twilight silk. Her eyes preserve the depth of limitless night spent looking over dreamers. She speaks with a grin. The replicate indicates you not what you expect, however what you need to do not forget. So many carries splendor, they by no means pause to peer. She gestures in the direction of the pond, and unexpectedly, photographs begin to seem not just of you, however, of moments that formed you. An adolescent snigger under a solar-dappled tree. A quiet evening where you surely listened to a pal. That small act of kindness you offered without looking ahead to whatever and go back. These are your constellations, she says, in this night. You gather them to remind you that you aren't the sum of what the arena needs. However, a mosaic of soft moments, every worth of being loved. Elias hands you a clean silver stone. Solid this into the pond. It will not damage the surface. It will invite a deeper, mirrored image. As you allow the stone slip out of your arms, it doesn't splash. As a substitute, it melts into the water, sending waves of soft, mild outward. The pond's surface transforms, displaying not just who you are, however the quiet hopes you cradle for yourself. You notice yourself not as a position, or a name, or a project, however, as a presence. A calm breath, mild strength. The mirrored image smiles returned at you, not out of arrogance. However, with a quiet guarantee, you are sufficient, exactly as you are. Nimby leaps onto your lap, curling into a soft, purring ball, anchoring you in this moment of soft readability. The elderly woman offers you with a delicate pendant, formed like a crescent moon, embedded with a droplet from the pond. Preserve this near, she says, as a mild reminder that your mirrored image is not sure by way of mirrors, however by way of how kindly you breathe into yourself. As you put together to go away the clearing, Elias places a reassuring hand for your shoulder. You'll neglect. Sometimes lifestyles are loud. But each time you breathe with goal, this mirrored image will discover you once more. You are making your way back for your resting corner, the pendant resting gently over your coronary heart. The replicate of moonlit reflections doesn't fade away, lingers to your chest, glowing quietly, ready to go back on every occasion. You need to look yourself with love. Elias tucks you in, his lantern now dimmed to a mild pulse. You are safe, he whispers, the words cradling you want. Gentle lullaby. You are cherished. You are home. Nibi nestles towards your face, her gentle purrs sinking along with your breath, grounding you gently into the warm temperature of sleep. As your eyes near the clearing, the pond, the moonlit mirrored image, they don't disappear. They wrap around you, a cocoon of quiet reality, holding you tenderly as you drift deeper into non-violent slumber. As of now, the staircase of gradual dawns. The gentle glow of the moonlit mirrored image still rests to your coronary heart as you stir gently, feeling the arena around you shift yet again. This time, the air incorporates a softness that feels just like the first actual breath of morning, now not rushed, now not loud. Only a quiet promise of a brand new beginning. Elias stands nearby, his lantern now transformed. It does not glint like a flame, but glows with the golden, warm temperature of a sunrise simply underneath the horizon. Nibi stretches with a little yawn, her tiny paws patting softly beforehand. As even though she is aware of precisely in which this path is main, there's a place, Elias murmurs, his voice, like a warm hand located gently over yours, in which dawn doesn't come abruptly. It arrives slowly, patiently, step by step, coaching us the artwork of waking up with grace. Earlier than you, a fashionable staircase appears. But that is no regular staircase, it spirals upward, each step bathed in its personal color of dawn. From deep nighttime blues to gentle lavender, mild peach to honeyed gold, the staircase is a spectrum of mornings in body. Welcome to the staircase of gradual dawns. You're taking the first step, and immediately a gentle breeze encircles you. It smells just like the clean breath of earth after a nighttime of mild rain. The step beneath your FT feels alive now, not like stone or wood, but like a gentle memory of every morning you have ever cherished. Elias walks beside you, his steps perfectly in rhythm with yours, yet giving you space to sense the moment. We frequently rush into mornings, he says, as even though waking is a challenge. But right here, you'll consider that dawn is not something you overcome, it's something you greet. Nibby leaps in advance, her tiny tail flicking with pleasure as she spins playfully on a step that glows a smooth coral red. She's teaching you to embody this climb no longer as a chore, however, as a gentle invitation. Each step you take brings a diffused exchange no longer in scenery. However, within you, the first step wraps you in the warm temperature of remembered laughter over morning tea. Every other fill your ears with the delicate hush of leaves stirring in a quiet breeze. With each upward thrust, your breath deepens, your heartbeat syncs with the earth's calm pulse. You attain a touchdown where a small alcove awaits, a nook bathed in smooth amber mild. A woven bench invites you to sit. As you do, you observe an hourglass floating before you, however not like any you visible. The sands within move no longer downwards, however in a gradual swirling dance like a smooth waltz suspended in time. Elias sits beside you. This hourglass holds the pace of your breath. Here, you are not past due, no longer early. You're perfectly timed. You watch as the sands reflect the rhythm of your inhales and exhales, each grain moving with a grace that appears like a meditation. Time here isn't something slipping away, something that settles within you, a quiet accomplice in preference to a ticking overseer. Nibby curls up at your FT, her purring resonating with the gentle hum of the sands. Elias offers you a small, polished stone etched with a delicate dawn. Bring this with you, he says, whilst the sector rushes you maintain it. And take into account that you're allowed to upward thrust as slowly and beautifully as the sunrise. As you continue up the staircase, the colors of the stairs begin to glow warmer. You pass through arches woven from morning glories, their petals commencing lazily, as though they too are savoring the sunrise. The air feels alive with a tune, no longer sung aloud, however humming lightly under your pores and skin. You pause at every other touchdown where a pool of liquid mild ripples lightly. Elias gestures so that you can dip your arms. As your hands touch the surface, the mild sends gentle waves up your palms, warming your chest, softening your thoughts. That is the pool. A first mind, Elias explains. Here you choose the sensation you need to greet the day with. You close your eyes, and a word floats to you, peace. The pool responds, sending an oft golden ripple through you, wrapping you in a relaxed warranty that these days, peace is yours to maintain. The climb keeps, and with every step, you feel lighter not in weight, but within the quiet losing of the day gone by's burdens. It's as though every step you're taking is a mild disregarding of concerns, replacing them with soft beams of morning light. At the staircase's summit, you discover an enormous open terrace in which the sky unfolds into a breathtaking canvas of dawn. The sun doesn't rise in a hurry right here, it blooms, petal by means of petal, spilling warm temperature throughout the horizon in a gradual, loving include. You and Elias stand together, watching because the light touches everything with reverence. Nibby sits among you, her gaze constant on a flock of dreambirds that jump lazily. Their wings portray soft strokes within the morning sky. Elias turns to you, his eyes reflecting the dawn's glow. Every day the sector offers you a new sunrise. You don't want to seize it. You most effective want to satisfy it, for your very own time, for your very own manner. He arms you a sensitive chain, a tiny charm formed like a staircase main into the sky. This is your reminder that rising gently is not a delay, it's an art. As you put together to go back in your resting corner, the staircase doesn't disappear. As an alternative, it folds quietly within you, a soft whisper for your breath and rhythm for your steps. Back for your corner, Elias tucks you in with a softness that looks like being wrapped in a morning breeze. You are safe, he murmurs. You are cherished. You are home. Nibby curls into your aspect, her purring now a lullaby synced with the gradual, rhythmic unfolding of dawn. As your eyes near the colors of the staircase, the warm temperature of the sunrise, and the breath of gradual mornings cradle you, making sure that whilst you wake, you'll convey this mild pace with you, no matter how the sector rushes. Allows turn this quiet corner, in which partitions appear to do not forget old tales. Because the course narrows, you'll feel the whispers of time brushing past. The meadow of resting mind, the staircase of gradual dawns gently fades behind you, not as a reminiscence misplaced, but as a rhythm now pulsing softly within you. Your breath, your steps, your very heartbeat feels slower, extra intentional. Every fiber of you has settled into this quiet, loving pace. Elias smiles, sensing your newfound stillness. Nibby offers a bit stretch, her tiny paws kneading the air, as although preparing for the next journey, there's a place, Elias says, his voice like the soft rustle of leaves in which mind don't want to race. They're allowed to relaxation, to take root gently and bloom when the time is proper. You follow him because the course shifts under your toes, the field turning soft and inviting like strolling throughout a duvet, woven from clouds and meadows. The air is full of the sensitive perfume of earth after rain, mingled with the faint sweetness of blossoms but to bloom. In advance, an enormous meadow unfurls, a sea of soft vegetables, dappled with wildflowers that sway not with the wind, but with the rhythm of unstated ideas. Welcome to the meadow of resting mind. Right here, the sky above is a canvas of serene pastels, and the air hums with a mild, almost imperceptible melody. Every flower, every blade of grass, seems to carry the whisper of a notion, a few absolutely shaped, others nevertheless curling softly at the edges, or taking a few steps into the meadow, and instantly you feel the load of mind. You've been wearing the to-do lists, the unfinished conversations, the silent concerns begin to elevate. They don't vanish. It's an alternative. They waft gently down, finding a place to nestle into the welcoming earth under your toes. Elias kneels beside a patch of lavender-hued flora. These are thought keepers, he explains. They maintain onto your musings, your half-shaped ideas, keeping them safe and nourished till you're geared up to revisit them. You kneel as nicely, jogging your fingers gently through the soft petals. They feel heat, almost respiratory, as though they're listening attentively to every notion you aren't talking aloud. Nibby, ever curious, trots off into the meadow, her tail flicking as she chases floating notion seeds, tiny specks of golden light that glide lazily through the air. She catches one, bats it gently, and it bursts softly, liberating a heady scent that reminds you of a reminiscence long tucked away. A quiet morning in which you truly sat and dreamed. Elias stands, providing you a woven basket. Let's collect some thoughts you'd like to hold close, he says. Not to weigh you down, however, to carry them with care. You stroll slowly via the meadow, and with every step, a flower leans closer to you, providing an idea. Some are small, simple wishes like "I hope I snicker tomorrow." Others are deeper, feelings you didn't realize needed acknowledgement. It's okay to relaxation. One flower hums softly. Whenever you lightly pluck a blossom, it folds itself into a sparkling orb and nestles into the basket, becoming a smooth companion rather than a burden. You reach a glade wherein a delicate stone bench rests below a historical tree. The tree's branches cradle a canopy of hanging idea lanterns, everyone sparkling with a unique light. Some flicker like shy thoughts, others glow regularly, patiently. Elias gestures to sit. As you do, the bench feels as although it molds flawlessly to you, a seat made from the very idea of consolation. Above you, the ideal lanterns start to sway lightly, responding to the quiet of your breath. Elias speaks, his tone almost a whisper we regularly accept, as true with we have to act on every idea at once. However, some thoughts honestly want to be stated to be heard, after which lightly located right here, to bloom whilst the heart is ready. You look up as one specific lantern drifts nearer. Inner, a smooth photo shimmers. You, sitting quietly, wrapped in a warm blanket, doing nothing, however, being a gentle reminder that presence is a treasured idea. Nibby hops onto the bench, curling beside you, her purring syncing with the smooth hum of the lanterns. It feels like the complete meadow is respiratory with you now, in a sluggish, gentle rhythm. Elias gives you a thought keeper bloom, a delicate pendant shaped like a tiny flower. Keep this with you, he says. Every time your mind feels crowded, this may remind you that it's okay to allow mind rest, to consider that they'll bloom whilst you're ready. The sun starts off evolve to lower, casting a golden hush over the meadow. Flowers fold barely, not remaining, but settling in for a restful evening, much like you. As you stroll back toward your resting corner, you comprehend that your basket is not heavy. The mind within glowed gently, textual content to be carried without urgency. Back on your corner, Elias tucks you in yet again, his arms smoothing the smooth blanket over you, as even though sealing inside the calm. You are secure, he whispers. You are cherished. You are domestic. Nibby nestles into your face, her smooth purrs blending into the meadow's quiet hum, lulling you deeper into a serene shut-eye, your eyes near. The meadow stays within you, a quiet sanctuary, in which each thought has an area, in which not anything wishes to be hurried, and in which you are usually sufficient. Allows take a seat by this mild fire, in which each tale looks like a warm embrace. Now you experience that. You are in the lantern root of kindred spirits. The smooth hum of the meadow of resting mind remains nestled within your chest, as you wake to a brand new sort of calm. It's not the hush of sleep now. However, the quiet readiness of a coronary heart open to connection. Elias stands at the brink of your resting corner, his lantern now decorated with tiny, shimmering charms that tinkle softly as they sway. Nibby, ever the curious manual, perches on his shoulder, her tail flicking lazily as if to mention, it's time. There's a route Elias starts off evolved, his voice like the warm hush of shared secrets and techniques, in which each light you spot is not just a guidepost, but a connection, a bond shaped throughout time, distance, and quiet knowledge. You upward thrust, stepping barefoot onto a route that feels alive below your feet. The floor is a smooth mosaic of cobblestones, every sparkling faintly, as if infused with a memory of a kind word or a shared snigger. Overhead, lanterns go with the flow, suspended not by chains, but by threads of consider and kindness. Welcome to the lantern root of kindred spirits. The lanterns above don't simply light the way, they pulse gently, every beat a silent greeting from a kindred soul. A few lanterns glow regularly, representing lifelong companions. Others flicker softly, new connections simply beginning to form, their light delicate but no less huge. Elias gestures ahead, in which the route starts. Off evolved to weave via arches made from intertwining branches and vines. As every arch shimmer with tiny lanterns, their lighting fixtures dancing in mild rhythm along with your steps. As we stroll, Elias explains, each lantern you pass is a mirrored image of a bond. A few are from people you've met, others from souls you've but to encounter, and a few are from individuals who quietly stroll beside you, even if you don't usually be aware. Nibby leaps from Elias' shoulder, landing softly beside you. She nudges your leg, encouraging you forward, as although she herself is familiar with the sacredness of this course, you approach a lantern that seems to hum an acquainted tune. As you reach out, a tender photograph paperwork within its glow, a shared smile from a second lengthy ago, perhaps with someone you haven't visible in years. The lantern pulses gently, acknowledging the bond, no matter how plenty time is handed. In addition, alongside you note lanterns suspended decrees near your heart's reach. These lanterns hold the unstated connections, the strangers whose eyes met yours in silent information, the brief however meaningful conversations that warmed you all. Sudden, Elias pauses by a bigger lantern. It's mild, the deep, comforting amber. This one, he says, is the bond with yourself. It's frequently the hardest to peer, yet it glows with each second of self-kindness, each breath wherein you pick to be gentle with yourself. Stand before the lantern, and as you do, a warmth envelops you now, not from the out of doors, however from within. It's as although each small act of self-love you've ever provided yourself is cradling you currently, reminding you that you too are your personal kindred spirit, as you preserve. Strolling, the course widens into a gentle clearing, wherein lanterns flow freely, weaving elaborate styles in the air. Right here, the air feels lighter, full of quiet laughter, whispered memories, and the gentle hum of shared silences. Elias leads you to an important lantern slightly larger, its glow shimmering with endless colorings. "This is the lantern of destiny bonds," he says. "It holds the distance for connections yet to be made, the human beings whose paths you haven't crossed. However, whose lighting are already achieving out to yours." You stand under it, feeling a diffused pull, now not urgent. However, a quiet promise that somewhere, someone is gently wishing to satisfy your mild nibby. Playfully bats at a smaller lantern drifting near, sending it spinning with a tender chime. It reminds you that now not each bond needs to be grand. Several of the most profound connections are fashioned in the handiest moments of shared playfulness. Elias palms you a small lantern attraction, delicate yet sparkling with a constant warmth. "Convey this with you," he says. "Every time you feel by me, bear in mind the web of lighting that quietly surrounds you." Connection doesn't constantly want phrases, it frequently starts with clearly being present. The direction starts to curl gently lower back, closer to your resting nook. However, the lanterns don't dim. It's a substitute, they flow along, as even though accompanying your home, each one a soft whisper of companionship. Lower back in your nook, Elias tucks you in, his voice soft with affection. "You are in no way taking walks alone," he says. "You're a constellation of bonds, woven collectively by light, breath, and quiet kindness." Nibi curls towards your side, her purring mixing seamlessly with the gentle chimes of lanterns, nevertheless soaring in the air. As your eyes near, the direction doesn't fade. It remains within you, a lattice of lighting fixtures, a smooth community of kindred spirits who, in their personal quiet approaches, are usually accomplishing out to meet your glow. Every step brings you closer to a place in which mind can eventually rest, in the fireplace of eternal testimonies. The glow of the lantern direction lingers, its quiet hum of connection nevertheless nestled within your chest as Elias gently courses you forward. Nibi hops onto your shoulder this time, curling into the crook of your neck, her purring a soft vibration that appears to mention this subsequent region is unique. Elias' lantern now glows in another way, not a regular beam, but a soft flickering. Just like the beginning of a story being whispered into the air. "There's a fireplace ahead," Elias says, his voice low and reverent, "in which every story ever told nevertheless lingers in the embers. It's a place in which testimonies aren't just remembered. They're alive, ready to wrap around you like a warm blanket." The direction softens underneath your feet, remodeling into a carpet of woven tapestries, each thread pulsing with its personal narrative. You could experience it. Underneath every step, the laughter of vintage testimonies, the soft sighs of bedtime testimonies, the quiet electricity of legends. Welcome to the fireplace of eternal testimonies. You step into a sizable chamber in which the walls are not walls in any respect, but towering shelves brimming with sparkling scrolls and shimmering story crystals. In the center, a grand fireplace blazes not with fireplace that burns, but with a soft golden flame that pulses with the rhythm of limitless heartbeats. Elias gestures to a huge cushioned circle across the fireplace, in which listeners as soon as sat, and nevertheless do, in a way beyond sight but deeply felt. Every time a story is told with love, a spark from it finds its way here. This night, this fireplace is yours. You settle into the cushions, feeling the warmth not to your pores and skin, but deeper. As even though the flame is wrapping around your spirit, Nibi curls into your lap, her eyes reflecting the flickering light. Elias kneels beside the hearth, and with a gentle wave of his hand, the flame's element revealing inside them a floating thread of light. "This," he says softly, "is a tale waiting to be chosen by using you." You reach out, and as your palms graze the thread, it unfurls, weaving itself right into a gentle movement of picks. You see scenes out of your own life. Early life recollections, quiet evenings, moments of pure, unfiltered joy. However then, the thread pulls wider, revealing memories you've in no way heard, but by some means experience, as although they belong to you. An elderly female telling a bedtime tale to an infant. A traveler sharing myths by using a fireplace with strangers who soon become friends. A simple song hummed whilst kneading dough passed down through generations. Those aren't just testimonies, they're fragments of humanity stitched gently into the very material of this hearth. Elias smiles. Testimonies don't just belong to folks that tell them. They belong to folks that experience them. The hearth flame glints, and abruptly the room is filled with tender voices, no longer loud, however like a chorus of heartbeats. Every whisper, every snicker, every pause is a note in this living symphony of shared memories. Knee be ever playful, pause at a floating tail crystal, and it bursts gently, liberating a shower of tiny luminescent words that waft around you. A few decide your hands, your shoulders, your heart. Every phrase incorporates a sensation. One feels just like the embrace of a long misplaced friend. Other hums like a lullaby sung on a quiet night. Other tastes sweet, like a tale advised over heat tea and quiet smiles. Elias hands you a small locket, fashioned like an open book. Inside, instead of pages, there's a tender, pulsating glow. This is your story light, he explains. Every time you experience a drift, open it. Holds no longer just your tale, however fragments of every tale that's ever touched you. You shut your eyes, and for a second, you experience them all. The storytellers who got here before you, the listeners who will come after, and the quiet understanding that you too are a thread in this widespread lovely weave. Elias' voice is softer now, nearly mixing with the sparkle of the hearth. The arena out of doors may also attempt to rush you, outline you, drown your voice in noise. However, here you are undying. Here your tale breathes slowly, gently, for all time. As you rise, the hearth flame does no longer dim. It follows you, a tender ember that now rests just below your collarbone, a quiet glow with a view to accompany you past this vicinity. Lower back on your resting nook, Elias tucks you in yet again. The air incorporates the faint, heady scent of parchment and hearth embers, a consolation that looks like being wrapped in every bedtime tale ever advised. Nibby curls beside you, her purr now a tender, rhythmic hum that suits the pulse of the story light inside your locket. As your eyes close, you recognize the hearth of eternal testimonies. Isn't an area you depart? It's an area you convey inside you, continually equipped to relight its warmth, mainly when the arena feels cold. You may experience lighter, as though every step is brushing away the noise. The bridge of gentle goodbyes, the tender member of the story light, rests near your heart as you stir, its glow sinking along with your breath. Elias is already there, his lantern. Now a diffused coloration of twilight. No longer dark, no longer light. However, the soft in among of farewells. Nibi stretches beside you, giving a small, understanding purr, as although she knows that this next journey isn't always an ending. However, a passage. There's an area, Elias begins, his voice soft but consistent, in which goodbyes aren't. Sharp edges. They're tender, gentle arches, bridges that convey us to new beginnings with kindness. The course before you shimmer into lifestyles, no longer with grandeur, however with quiet grace. It's a bridge of tender stone, its edges lined with sensitive lanterns, every retaining a gentle flame that glints no longer with loss, however with gratitude. Welcome to the bridge of gentle goodbyes. As you step onto the bridge, you experience it below, you no longer stable, however fluid, like on foot across a reminiscence that knows a way to preserve you just right. The breeze here isn't cold. It's a tender exhale, just like the global itself is whispering its K. Every lantern you bypass holds a fraction of farewell. No longer the heavy goodbyes of rushed departures, however the kind that lingers in a heartfelt smile, a tender take care, or a long, comforting hug. Elias walks beside you, his steps unhurried. We regularly see goodbyes as walls, endings. We fear, however, truly, every farewell is a bridge. A few bridges are brief. Others stretch across time and distance. However, all of them connect us, in no way separate. Nibby scurries beforehand, playfully chasing the light of a lantern that floats to crease, its glow pulsing like a heartbeat. She pauses, looking lower back at you, as though to say, "Come on, it's lovely up here." As you retain taking walks, the bridge starts to arch lightly upward. Beneath, a huge river flows, now not of water, however of reflections. You notice moments out of your journey here, the cobblestone markets, the spiral staircase of dawns, the meadow in which your mind discovered peace. It's the lantern path, and the fireplace that cradled every story. Each reflection isn't an echo left within the returned of
Ice.
It feels greater, like a thread that's been lightly woven into you, making you softer, fuller, greater, entire. Leah stops beside a huge, intricately carved lantern that stands at the bridge's crest. This, he says, is the lantern of acknowledgement. Earlier than we go, we pause here now, not to mourn what's finishing, however, to honor it. You place your hand on the lantern, and immediately, warmth blooms up your arm, settling softly on your chest. Images flood your mind now, not simply of places, however of emotions. The marvel of new discoveries, stillness of quiet moments, the laughter of shared silences, the consolation of being. Elias speaks yet again, his voice a gentle encompass. Goodbyes are frequently seen as lonely. However, here, you notice they're shared. Absolutely everyone, every place, every story you've met, is lightly waving lower returned. Now, not with sorrow, however with a promise. Nibby returns, jumping into your palms. She nuzzles into you, her purring now a deep, rhythmic hum that feels like a confirmation. You're equipped. As you walk down the bridge's gentle descent, the lanterns start to waft upwards, forming a gentle archway of mild. You pass underneath them, and with every step, a quiet launch settles into your breath. Now, not a letting go that feels like loss, however a letting go that feels like accept is true with. In advance, the path opens proper right into a gentle meadow, acquainted however new. The air here smells just like the promise of mornings, however, to return, returned. And you recognize this isn't always a departure. That is a crossing. Elias stands at the edge, his lantern now dimming, now not in farewell, however in contentment. I'll constantly be close to, he says with a gentle smile. Each time you close up your eyes and breathe slowly, we'll meet yet again. He palms you a very last token, a bridge customary pendant, touchy, however strong. That is your reminder that goodbyes are bridges. And bridges constantly lead somewhere. Nabi leaps down, trotting in advance into the gentle glow of the meadow. You look at your steps lighter, your coronary heart quieter, understanding that every bond, every story, every farewell has turned out to be a part of you. Lower returned on your resting corner, you settle yet again. The air consists of the gentle perfume of twilight and lantern mild, a consolation that feels like a loving hand resting over yours. As you close your eyes, the bridge doesn't disappear. It stays inside you, a quiet path so that it will constantly guide you lightly from endings into lovely. Gentle beginnings allows turn this quiet corner, wherein partitions appear to bear in mind vintage stories. The Garden of Quiet Tomorrows, the meadow you entered after the bridge, feels exclusive now. Now not as an area to pass via, however as a space to pause, breathe, and plant gentle intentions. Elias walks beside you, his lantern now decorated with touchy floral patterns, sparkling with a gentle, nurturing mild. Nibby trots in advance, now and again glancing lower, return as though she is privy to this next places in which your coronary heart will locate its rhythm. It's unhurried and unfastened. There's a garden, Elias says, his voice as gentle as earth crumbling via palms, in which tomorrows aren't rushed, in which goals are planted, now not to be chased, however, to be cared for. With endurance, with accept as true, with as your welcome to the Garden of Quiet Tomorrows, the direction opens proper. Right into a sanctuary of mild veggies and pastel blooms in the rich air with the perfume of lavender, chamomile, and the faint sweetness of desires unspoken, and the floor is mild beneath your feet. A tapestry of moss that cradles every step like a lullaby. As you walk, you get notice small, sparkling seeds floating lazily inside the air. They flow down lightly, as though trying to find palms equipped to receive them. Elias kneels, cupping a seed in his palm. Every desire you've whispered proper right into a quiet nighttime. Every preference you've tucked away for at some point, they all come here, now not to be forgotten. However, to be nurtured. He gives you a small basket, woven with threads of silver and gentle blue. Collectively, you begin collecting seeds now, not hurriedly, however with care. Each seed feels exclusive, some warm with lengthy held goals, others cool with gentle budding hopes. Nibby darts round, playfully pouncing on seeds, sending them floating better, only for them to flow down yet again, greater affected man or woman than earlier then. Within the coronary heart of the garden lies a circle of gentle earth, bordered via stones etched with symbols of endurance, boom, and quiet resilience. Elias gestures in case you need to sit down. This is wherein you plant your intentions, he says. But now, not with urgency. Proper right here, we plant with take delivery of, as genuine with know-how, they may bloom when the coronary heart and time are equipped. You kneel, pressing your fingers lightly into the earth. With each seed you plant, a smooth pulse of moderate travels via the soil, connecting with limitless, one-of-a-kind, planted desires. There's no need to rush their bloom. The lawn holds them with unwavering persistence. Elias hums a smooth melody, and the lawn responds. Tiny sprouts emerge, now not absolutely bloomed, but paragraph of their cutting-edge shape. Their lifestyles aren't defined using how speedy they flourish, but using the affection with which they were planted. You be conscious a small sprout that appears acquainted. As you contact it, a picture blossoms for your thoughts, a dream you've carried for a long time, one that's been looking ahead to the proper second, to stretch in the direction of the moderate. Nibby curls beside you, her purring mixing seamlessly with the lawn's smooth rustle. She watches as more sprouts emerge, every one specific, but harmoniously part of the identical quiet symphony. Elias offers you a watering can, its water shimmering with the colors of dawn. Nurture them lightly, he says. Not every day would require your tending, but each glance, each quiet breath, your percent with them can be felt. As you pour, the lawn responds, now not with sudden blooms, but with a deepening glow. A promise that boom is taking vicinity, even when unseen. Elias leads you to a stone bench under an historical willow, its branches cascading like a curtain of tranquility. This bench, he says, is for dreamers, who remember the fact that relaxation is part of boom. You're taking a seat, feeling the load of urgency soften away. Proper right here, time is a moderate companion, now not a taskmaster. The lawn hums softly, a lullaby to your coronary heart. Elias sits beside you, his lantern dimming to a smooth ember. You word, he whispers. Quiet tomorrows aren't empty. They're rich with the unseen, the turning into. Nibby climbs into your lap, kneading softly earlier than settling in. The lawn's air looks as if a heat exhale, wrapping you in a cocoon of serene anticipation. Elias palms you a tiny glass vial, within which swirls an unmarried sparkling seed. Maintain this, he says. On every occasion you experience rushed or dubious, this seed will remind you that the most stunning blooms often develop within the quietest of gardens. As twilight deepens, you find yourself lower back for your resting nook. The scents of the lawn linger earthy, floral, timeless. The load of desires does not feel heavy, but cradled and take delivery of, as genuine with, Elias tucks you in. His voice a whisper of earth and stars. Relaxation now. Your tomorrows are comfy. They're now not in a hurry. They're quietly turning into, Nibby purrs into the crook of your arm as your eyes close, wearing with you the smooth rustle of leaves, the hum of sprouting desires, and the peace of know-how that the whole thing you want for is developing, lightly, patiently with you. With each step, the load you've carried will develop softer, will let you. Recognize the sanctuary of inner seasons. The night cradles you lightly as Elias returns. His lantern now shifting via smooth shades of blues, golds, and muted vegetables colorings that seem to breathe with the rhythm of your personal emotions. Nibby perches quietly on his shoulder, her eyes reflecting a know-how gleam. There's an area Elias starts off evolved, his voice gentle as falling snow, where in each feeling you've ever had been welcomed. A sanctuary that understands your coronary heart's changing seasons and loves everyone. You leap forward. The air around you are tingling with a sensitive hush. The ground feels specific live, but calm, as even though the earth itself is respiratory under your feet. Welcoming you proper right here to the sanctuary of inner seasons, and the winds lightly via an ever-shifting panorama and your left fields of golden autumn leaves rustle. In a crisp, clean breeze and your proper smooth blossoms unfurl in a meadow of endless spring, and above a sky painted with the pastel shades of dawn, offers way to the deep, velvety blues of a starlit night. Elias gestures beforehand. This sanctuary isn't bound using time. Proper right here, your emotions glide like seasons, now not rushed, now not judged. They're allowed to surely be. You walk via an archway, woven from branches that bloom and shed in excellent harmony. Every step looks as if stepping into part of yourself you hadn't visited in some time. Within the spring grove, petals go with the flow lightly within the air, every wearing a spark of renewal. Proper right here, each breath looks as if a smooth begins, a moderate awakening of forgotten hopes. Nibby leaps playfully, chasing the floating petals as if encouraging you to experience that lightness too. Elias pauses under a cherry blossom tree, its branches cradling a smooth, glistening rain. Spring is when your coronary heart whispers new desires, he says, irrespective of how quiet they ought to bloom. As you retain the root shifts softly into summertime's embody the warmth. Proper right here isn't overwhelming. It's just like the solar wrapping you in an acquainted, comforting hugs. Golden grasses sway lazily, and a nearby brook murmurs memories of joy, connection, and easy contentment. Elias dips his hand into the brook, letting the water glide via his fingers. And the summertime is your joy, your laughter, your moments of being present. Even small moments, a shared smile, a quiet snigger, are well worth cherishing. You smile, feeling that warm temperature settles into your chest. The route then leads into the autumn canopy. The air turns into crisp, sporting the earthy fragrance of falling leaves and smooth nostalgia. Trees right here shed their golden cloaks without hesitation, teaching you the artwork of release. Elias walks slowly beside you, his tone softer now. Autumn teaches us that letting cross isn't dropping. It's making space for rest, for reflection, for the beauty of impermanence. You watch as leaves flow lazily down, each one sporting a notion, a memory, a weight you not need to maintain tightly. There's peace in this surrender. Beforehand, the panorama melts into the wintry weather hole. Snowflakes flow like whispered lullabies, and the sector feels hushed, wrapped in a mild stillness. However, there's no coldness right here best, a quiet invitation to rest. Elias leads you to a bench carved from frosted crystal. You take a seat, feeling not the kickback, however a deep, enveloping calm. Wintry weather isn't emptiness. He says, it's a sacred pause, a space in which you are allowed to rest, to just be, without the need to grow or alternate. Nibby curls beside you, her tiny frame radiating warm temperature. Together, you take a seat in this stillness, knowing that every moment of quiet is a gift. The sanctuary of internal seasons starts off evolved to weave these landscapes together, now not in separate elements. However, as a fluid breathing whole, you consider that your emotions aren't remoted. They're a stunning, shifting tapestry that belongs totally to you. Elias offers you a small compass, its needle not pointing north, however gently spinning, always. Aligning with your internal season, that is your heart compass, he explains. It's going to remind you that anywhere you are emotionally precisely in which you need to be, there's no incorrect season. The route circles again, closer to your resting nook. However, now, it feels enriched. Sporting the textures of every panorama you visited inside you, Elias tucks you in, his lantern now a smooth combo of all the seasons, glowing gently at your bedside. You are not meant to be the same each day, he says with a grin. Your heart's seasons will alternate, and each one will maintain you with love. Nibby curls into your face, her purring, harmonizing with the sanctuary's smooth hush. The air seems like a mild include, a lullaby sung by means of the seasons themselves. As your eyes close, you know that inside you exists an everlasting sanctuary in which every feeling is welcome. Every alternate is honored and every season is loved. The celestial balcony. The air feels lighter. As you wake, as though your complete journey has gently lifted you to a better location of stillness. Elias stands close by, his lantern now shimmering with starlight, casting mild constellations across the partitions of your resting nook. Nibby, perched in your shoulder, nuzzles into your cheek, as if to mention you're equipped. There's one greater location. I'd like to reveal you, Elias says, his voice a quiet combo of awe and serenity. A balcony in which you could see not just in which you've been, however, how every step, every breath has crafted the celebs that light your route. He leads you through a smooth archway that appears woven from moonbeams. The floor underneath your feet seems like cool marble, but every step echoes like a heartbeat. The air is neither bloodless nor warm. It holds you with perfect stability. Welcome to the celestial balcony. The balcony opens earlier than you, vast and infinite, putting gently in a sky that stretches beyond sight. However, this sky isn't filled with everyday stars. These are your stars. Each one sparkles with a memory, a breath, a moment of presence. They don't twinkle to reveal distance, they pulse, softly, and sync with your own quiet heart. Elias stands beside you, his lantern dims now, humbled by means of the light of the celebs. On every occasion, you pause to respire. Every kindness you gave, every moment you selected stillness over rush it has become a star. This he gestures to the glowing expanse is your sky. Nibby leaps out of your shoulder, landing lightly at the railing, her gaze lifted upward, tweak it out a smooth, contented trill, as if greeting antique pals. You're taking a slow breakthrough, resting your arms at the cool stone of the balcony's aspect. The celebs reply not dramatically, however, with a diffused softening, as if acknowledging your presence with a gentle smile. Elias gestures closer to a cluster of stars that glow hotter, golden. These are moments while you felt definitely linked, whether to a person else, to yourself, or to the quiet magic of the sector around you. You watch as the stars shift, weaving smooth styles that sense achingly familiar, the form of a shared giggle, the mild curve of a comforting include, the fleeting but profound glance of knowledge between strangers. In addition, out you observe stars that shimmer in sunglasses of gentle blue and lavender. Elias explains, these are your desires, not those chased with urgency, however, the ones you've carried gently, patiently, allowing them to grow of their personal time. You realize that this sky isn't fixed. It breathes, evolves. Every second of presence, every act of kindness, every breath of stillness adds a new megastar, shifts a constellation, deepens a hue. Elias fingers you a delicate telescope, its surface carved with historic styles of circles and spirals. This isn't always to look far away. These are moments while you felt definitely linked, whether to a person else, to yourself, or to the quiet magic of the sector around you. You watch as the stars shift, weaving smooth styles that sense achingly familiar, the form of a shared giggle, the mild curve of a comforting include, the fleeting but profound glance of knowledge between strangers. In addition, out you observe stars that shimmer in sunglasses of gentle blue and lavender. Elias explains, these are your desires, not those chased with urgency, however, the ones you've carried gently, patiently, allowing them to grow of their personal time. You realize that this sky isn't fixed. It breathes, evolves. Every second of presence, every act of kindness, every breath of stillness adds a new megastar, shifts a constellation, deepens a hue. Elias fingers you a delicate telescope, its surface carved with historic styles of circles and spirals. This isn't always to look far away. Elias publications you back toward your resting corner, his lantern now completely dim text to permit your skylight the manor. This night, you rest not under the celebrities, however, inside them, he says, tucking you in gently. Nibby curls against your chest, her tiny heartbeat syncing with your personal because. The stars continue to pulse softly around you as your eyes close. You experience it, the considerable, soft expanse of your celestial balcony. Constantly quietly celebrating the splendor of your journey. It's a quiet room for all time, because the glow of your celestial balcony softly fades into the heritage. Elias's voice returns even gentler now, as though carried on a breath of eternity. There's one final place, he whispers, wherein time melts away and you can absolutely be. A room wherein you aren't your past or your future, just this valuable, countless now. Nibby stirs for your chest, her purring, gradual and deep, guiding you gently as Elias gives you his hand. You upward thrust. However, it doesn't experience like standing. It feels like floating, weightless and unburdened, as though the very concept of hurry has been left in the back of. The direction ahead is not like any before. It's not made of stone or earth or even light. It's woven from silence. The type of silence that listens, cradles, to the quiet room of for all time. The doorway appears not with grandeur, however with a gentle, contented sigh. You step through, and instantly, the idea of time loosens its grip. Minutes, hours, days, they now not chase you right here. On this room, every second stretches into eternity. The distance itself feels alive yet, nevertheless, the partitions shimmer with an soft pearlescent glow, ever moving, yet never disturbing attention. They may be now not there too. Restrict you, however, to embrace you. Gently reminding you that you are safe. In the middle of the room rests a unique chair, now not an enthroned. For now not in pedestal, however, in cocoon of softness that welcomes you as you approach. It shows you now not as others see you, now not as you watched you are, however as a pulse of mild.com in eternal life. There's no need to recognize, Elias says. Right here you don't must resolve or restoration or outline. You are already entire. The replicate shifts, and you see photographs now, not of memories, however, of emotions. The soft, warm temperature of a hand held in kindness. The gentle pain of a tear released in safety. The buoyant lightness of a musing shared in understanding. All these emotions drift through the room like gentle motes of mild, never disturbing, always embracing. Nibi's purr now merges with the room's hum, creating a lullaby of life. Elias offers you a small, Tokana, clean, obvious sphere, inside which a tiny, infinite spiral slowly turns. This is you for all time stone, he explains. Every time you feel pulled into the frenzy of days, hold this. It'll remind you of this area, this breath, this best now. He kneels beside you, now, not as a manual now, however as a companion. The world outside will always have its currents. However, right here, inside you, this quiet room stays, undying, entire, always welcoming. You close your eyes, and the room doesn't fade. It wraps round you, like the softest blanket, like a breath that never ends, like a moment that loves you unconditionally. On this quiet room of for all time, there aren't any tasks, no expectancies. Simply you, resting in the purest essence of being. Elias's voice is a soft whisper, slightly brushing the air. Relaxation now. You are enough. You always had been. You always can be. Nibi shifts slightly, her tiny heartbeat syncing perfectly with yours as you each go with the flow inside this endless exhale. There's no need to consider endings or beginnings. On this area, you aren't preparing to leave, nor are you holding on to a rival. You are certainly right here. Right here is best. As you drift deeper into relaxation, the quiet room of for all time holds you, gently rocking you into a sleep that feels now not like escape, however, like a homecoming. Let's come step with me onto this quiet balcony, where the stars are your stories, the promise of go back. Earlier than you drift fully into sleep, I want you to bear in mind something simple, yet profoundly crucial. This adventure doesn't end right here. The safe region we've walked through collectively, the stories, the celebs, the quiet spaces, it lives inside you. Every time life will become loud, or your heart feels hurried, you can go back. Near your eyes, breathe slowly, and you'll find me right here, with Nibi, expecting you, prepared to stroll beside you once more. However, earlier than you pass, I ask for a small, gentle want. Percentage this adventure with someone who loves you. Someone who would possibly need a soft area to respire this night. Permits unfold this calm collectively, one heart at a time. And if you'd like to join me once more on future trips, make certain you join Lil Nomad. This is your piece of home, always right here while you need it. Sleep properly, dream gently, and bear in mind, you are loved, you are visible, you are home. Good night, sweet dreams from lilnomadstudio. Ebooks are coming soon. Stay with us. You get a link in bio once it's published.